All right, let's talk about grammar. Now I know, for a lot of us, that word probably brings back some not-so-great memories of red ink and rules that felt impossible to remember. But what if we thought about it in a totally different way? Not as some scary rulebook, but as a blueprint, a powerful tool that lets us build our ideas clearly and effectively. Okay, let's get into it.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the blueprint itself, what grammar actually is. Then we'll get our hands on the building blocks. After that, we'll see how the architecture works to put it all together, add some finishing touches, and finally, talk about how you can become the architect of your own language.
So first things first, the blueprint. Before you can build anything, you've got to understand the plan, right? In our case, that means asking a really basic question. What's the point of grammar anyway?
And that really is the big question, isn't it? Is grammar just this list of random rules made to trip us up? Or is it something we can actually master? A system that's designed to help us, one that we can use to our own advantage?
Well, here's the official definition. I want you to focus on that last part, clear and meaningful communication. See, that's the whole game. Grammar isn't about being right just for the sake of it. It's about being understood. It's like the shared language that lets an idea get from your brain to someone else's without getting scrambled along the way. Now, as we shift from why grammar exists to how it works, you might be surprised at how simple it can be. Honestly, you can boil it all down to just 3 fundamental stages. You need your materials, you need a plan to assemble them, and then you need the finishing touches. So let's start by gathering our materials.
And that brings us right to section 2, the building blocks. If grammar is the blueprint, then the parts of speech are our raw materials. They're the bricks, the wood, the steel, everything we need to actually start building our sentences.
In English, we've got 8 main types of these building blocks. You see them all here. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, the whole crew. Now, they're all useful, but let's be real. Every great building relies on 2 absolutely critical components. So let's focus on those, the foundation and the engine.
First up, the noun. Think of this as the solid foundation for your entire sentence. It's the subject, the who or the what you're talking about. It could be a person, like the architect, a place, like the city, or even an idea, like design. The noun gives your sentence something solid to stand on.
So if the noun is the foundation, then the verb, well, that's the engine. It's the part that gets things moving, the part that expresses action or a state of being. Words like builds, designs, or even just is. Without a verb, your sentence is just sitting there. The verb is what brings it to life.
Okay, so we've got our materials, our nouns, and our verbs. Now we move on to section 3, the architecture. This is where something called syntax comes into play. You can think of syntax as the instructions on the blueprint that show us exactly how to put those materials together to build strong sentences.
And the most fundamental unit we can build is called a clause. Here's the magic formula. A clause has to have both a subject, our noun, and a verb. That's it. The architect builds. The plan works. That simple little combo creates a complete thought. It's the core of every sentence you'll ever make. And once you've got that, you can see how easily we can build bigger things. You can start with just one of those independent clauses. The architect builds. That's a simple sentence. Or you can join 2 of them together. The architect builds and the city grows. Now you've got a compound sentence. And if you want to get fancier, you can add a piece that can't stand on its own, like because the plan works, and boom, you've just built a complex sentence.
And this is exactly why these architectural rules matter so much. They're all about clarity. If you just smash 2 complete thoughts together without any punctuation, like the architect builds, the city grows, you get what's called a fused sentence, and the meaning just gets lost. The blueprint is there to stop your ideas from collapsing into a confusing mess.
All right, our structure is up, it's solid. Now it's time for section 4, where we add the finishing touches. This is where things like punctuation and style come in to make our building not just strong, but also elegant and really easy for people to find their way around.
Think of punctuation marks as the traffic signs for your reader. A comma is like a yield sign, telling you to take a little pause. A semicolon is a stronger connection, like a bridge between 2 closely related ideas. And a colon, well, a colon is like a drum roll, telling you to get ready because a list or a big explanation is coming up. They're not just random dots, they're signals.
Style is another one of these finishing touches. Just look at this example. The ball was chased by the dog. I mean, it's correct, but it's kind of sleepy, right? A little indirect. Now look at the active version. The dog chased the ball. It's direct, it's got energy, it's clear. Choosing the active voice is like shining a spotlight right on the doer. It's a small tweak that makes your message so much more powerful.
And that brings us to our final section, becoming the architect. We've looked at the blueprint, we've gathered the materials, and we've learned the construction techniques. So now the question is, what are you going to do with all of it?
This quote just nails it. Once you really get the framework, you can start making deliberate, creative choices. You can build sentences that are short and punchy, or long and elegant. You can use punctuation to control the whole rhythm of your writing. Grammar stops being this prison of rules and becomes this amazing toolkit for precision and creativity.
So, at the end of the day, the big takeaway is this. Grammar isn't about not making mistakes. It's about building meaning. It's about taking the ideas inside your head and constructing them so well, so clearly, that they can stand up strong in someone else's mind. So now you have the blueprint. The only question left is, what are you going to build?